The Smart Response Clicker System is a technology in which students are given handheld devices, and through these devices, they can answer questions on assessments that teachers can create through the program Smart Notebook through the smartboard. The image here shows the PE system, which is one of the many clicker technologies, but the PE system is the one I use in my particular classroom. Each clicker is really compact. They're very easy for the students to use. And just by typing in a letter, students can actually answer multiple choice questions. They can answer true, false, and they can even answer short answer on here. Their answers are directly recorded through the software program, and it also allows the instructors to instantly see what the student answered and to analyze all the data right away. My school in particular has 5 sets of clickers. They look exactly like the set in this picture. There's about 35 clickers per set, so enough, more than enough for each of your classes. And as far as how to set up the technology and creating an assessment that functions through the clicker technology, I'm going to talk about that right now. Every system comes with a port that looks like this one in the picture. This plugs into the USB dock on any computer. Once this is actually plugged in, the Smart Response Teacher Tools software can be loaded onto the computer. And once this software is loaded, it will also change your Smart Notebook configuration to allow for questions using the clickers to be added to your Smart Notebook pages. This is just a simple screenshot of what you will see after you open a Smart Notebook on your computer. That green arrow is actually pointing to the Smart Response Clicker technology icon. Okay, that's going to become available for you to click on once you download the software when you open Smart Notebook. Once you click on that Smart Response tab, these options become available to you. You can see the first arrow gives you an option to create an assessment with a title page or just insert a question directly onto your Smart Notebook page, as you can see with the second arrow. The second blue arrow is pointing to an insert A, B, C, D icon. That's just a multiple choice question, so I'm going to go ahead and select that option because I would like a multiple choice question available for my students to answer. Once you click on that option, this is the screen that appears under the Properties tab. You can see that you can add your point value to it. There is also an answer key right there. So all you have to do is on your Smart Notebook page is type your question where it says sample question, and then you can type possible answer choices next to each of those letters under A, B, C, or D for the students to choose from, and then you can fill in your answer key according to whatever answer is correct. That's basically all you need to do to generate a question in the program. The next tab in the question window is actually the progress tab. Now you need to be under this tab so you can actually start the question. Once you click on start the question on your smartboard, your students can then actually answer through the clicker system that they have in their hand. So once the question is started, the student can write whatever letter they feel is the best response to the question, A, B, C, or D. And that data, all they have to do is submit their answer, and that data goes directly into the program on your smartboard. As students are answering, you're going to be able to see the duration, how long it's taking them to answer. It's also going to show how many of your students have answered, 5 out of 30, 10 out of 30. Sometimes this student forgets to submit their answer, so you can see their name under the Who Isn't Finished tab. But once you stop the question and press on that, you'll be able to see the results, either in the form of a bar graph or a pie graph, and see the percentage of students who answered which response. So you can see from the picture that once you stop the question, the results show up right away. And you can see what the percentages are of students who answered which response. So it's a very, very useful tool. Now, before you can actually do an assessment with your students, you have to make sure that you have them all set up correctly in the program, which is the next thing that I'm going to show you how to do. You download the software into your computer. This Teacher Tools Response program will automatically go into your computer. Once you open that up, you're going to have to fill out some information about yourself, but this is the screen that you're going to see when you open it up. You can see there's steps to add a class, add students to your class. So you just want to make sure that you have this screen up, and before you can administer an assessment to your students, you're going to have to make sure all your classes are entered, all your students are entered, and you've actually started that class. On the left-hand side here, you can see for this tab, you can just click on add a class. I've added all my class. You can add as many as you want. I've added all mine and named them by their period. So it's up to you how you want to make that happen, but just know that all your classes can be separate and you can label them however you like. So you can see once you click on adding students to your class, you could just manually type all your students' names in. There's also a way to import it from some sort of spreadsheet like Microsoft Excel if you would like to do that. And then the program assigns each of your students a student ID number. This ID number is what the actual clicker that they have will ask them to type in once they turn their clicker on. So all they have to do is turn their clicker on, type their ID number in, and then join your class. And after you start the class, they'll be ready to take whatever assessment it is that you want them to take. You can see I also included a screenshot of what you will see when your students are actually allowed to sign in once you start the class. You can see how many of your students are actually online, signed into their clickers using their ID numbers, how many questions are on their assessment, and some administrative stuff like if there's a weak signal, low batteries, things like that. I did just want to share one application of the clickers that I've used in my classroom and that I currently use. I feel it's a great way to review content, address any misconceptions that students have, and really just create a fun learning environment. And that's just by playing Jeopardy, which I'll show you the components of the game. I do have the template too, in case anyone's interested. You can email me and I will email you that template as well. Basically, I split my class into two teams, the red team and the green team. The red team only answers A, B, C, and D for the questions, and the green team answers E, F, G, and H. When the whole class answers and I stop the question, I can see what percentage of the teams answered the correct answer and then distribute the points accordingly. This is just a goofy practice question that I came up with, just so the students could get a feel for the game, make sure they're using the actual right letters according to what team they're on, and show them that I could see the percentage and stuff like that. So here's a picture of the latest game board that I use for playing Jeopardy with my students for their Earth's Interior chapter. Students can pick from any four of the categories: rock, cycle, earthquakes. I'm going to show you an example question from the plate tectonics category. So I clicked on plate tectonics for 200. The template went directly to that question. The two student teams could answer the questions once I started the question using the left sidebar. If students wanted to answer mid-ocean ridges, they would respond D if they're on the red team and H if they're on the green team. Once the question is stopped, the results would show on the left-hand side here, and I could instantly see all the student data. The correct answer is, in fact, mid-ocean ridges. So, for example, if 40% of the red team answered D, but only 35% of the green team answered H, the red team would get the points since a larger percentage of their team answered correctly. There's also a picture here of the scoreboard I use just with my smartboard markers. It's just a really helpful, fun game for the kids. Plus, it's also helpful for the instructor because, if the majority of the class answers incorrectly, there's an issue or a misconception that you really need to address as far as the content goes.
Okay, so we're going to play Jeopardy today. You guys are going to be split into two teams. You guys are going to be the red team. You guys are going to be the green team. Now, on your clickers, you're only going to answer the letter for whatever team you're on. So the red team's only going to answer A, B, C, or D. The green team's only going to answer E, F, G, or H. So then, when I look at the results, I can see how many you answered right, how many you answered incorrectly. So we're going to do a practice question really quickly. And you can actually do this when I start the question on the screen. So the question is, who is the coolest teacher of all time? Is it Mr. Schuster from Glee, Miss Lynn, Mrs. Puff from SpongeBob, Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World? Okay, so so I'm going to start the question. Okay, once I start it, then you can put your answer in. Okay, so we will wait until everyone answers. If you look up here, you can see that 9 out of 25 of you have answered. You guys all put your answer in. So I'll wait for that.
I'm not going to be here for the next George situation.
Alex, Jacob, you guys still have an answer? Yeah, press enter twice on there. Okay, so all of you guys have finished. Obviously, the correct answer is E for the red team, F for the green team. So if I look at my results, okay, we're kind of skewed here. 32% of you said B, 40% said F, so that means the green team would get the points since a more percentage of them answered the question right. So, you guys ready to get started? We can play the real game.